Hey, what's up, fam? I've been walking around looking like this all day. And let me tell you, I'm showing up because I'm putting in the work, but this is a far cry from my usual attire of what usually scrubs, maybe something a little more casual, but we putting in work today and it's been really fun, showing up. Yeah, the thing is, the last time I put on any gear like this was probably about 18 years ago. And I will tell you, it only took me one day to work out there in that sun. And I was like, yeah, this is not my ministry. This is not for me. And yeah, I was done with that. So I brought my tail right on back to Langston. And the irony of today is that today marks 20 years, and okay, so go ahead and sit down. This is story time. If you know me, you know that I'm really big on gratitude. I'm big on commemorating and recognizing when there is a blessing and a reflection and a moment that deserves to be honored. And I had to pull over. Before I leave and talk to y'all. So catch on. All right. We've been talking a lot lately about what it's like to have your dream come to life. What would it feel like? What does it look like? How close your dreams are to you. Like right now in the moment, how close your dreams are when they feel like they're so far away, or it seems like we'll never make it there. And that's just not real. That's not the life that I'm choosing to live in. I'm choosing to live in the reality that my dreams will come to me, and they will come to me quickly. And so this experience today was one of those moments of just, it left me in awe. So I'm at Langston University right now. And I've been out here today, literally just kind of living a dream, your boy's out here fresh and I'm looking good. I'm putting in the work. And you're probably like, what the hell kind of dream is that? Well, it's a real one. Sometimes people get out there and they gotta grind and they gotta put it on and they gotta show up. So, all right. Okay. So here's the thing. I graduated Langston University 20 years ago, a whole 20 years ago. And first of all, to understand what that means is to know that I say all the time that coming to Langston University was the best decision I never made. It was the best decision I never made. And I say that because when I was in high school and I was getting ready to graduate, I had already decided I was joining the military. And if I go to school, it's going to be something part-time. It's going to be somewhere that, I should be at, that was of my caliber. And honestly, Langston was not on my list. And the thought of going to Langston was like, we don't speak those words. And so when my mother and my grandfather said, hey, you should consider it. You got a scholarship offer. Langston offered me a McCabe scholarship. And I was like, no, sir, that's not for me. And I just walked away. And my mom and my grandpa like, you should really think about this. Like, this could be an opportunity. And I was like, no, and I'm not going to Langston. Who's going to Langston? Like, me? Young and dumb. And so I fought it until the point that she locked me in her car and made me promise to go to Langston. And I agreed, because I'm a man of my word. I agreed to go for 1 year. But then I was like, nah, I'm just going for a semester. So I agreed to go for 1 semester. So I went to Marine Corps boot camp, and I thought, I'm going to go become a Marine. Then I'll come back to Langston, go for just a couple of weeks, and then I'm going to take off and, be the supreme Marine of the world and take over, because I'm smart and I can do anything. So I go off to Marine Corps boot camp, and then I come back 3 days before classes start. 3 whole days. And mind you, I'd never been here. I'd never been to Langston. Look, I don't remember signing the paperwork. I'm not saying that they signed it for me. All I'm saying is I don't remember. It was well over 20 years ago. So I don't remember signing the paperwork, but somehow, some way, by the grace of God, I had a scholarship and I had a full ride and I had everything I needed to show up to Langston. And so I showed up 3 days before school started. And I said, my keys, please, to my dorm room, and you tell me where to pick up my books, and I will show up to class every day. And that was all the promise I made when it came to really showing up for myself at Langston University. So now you can understand, with the reality of me not wanting to be here, let's fast forward. Let's fast forward 5 days. It feels like that sometimes. 5 years later. 5 years later, I stayed. Spoiler alert. So I stayed at Langston, and 5 years later, I was preparing to graduate and stay even longer because I had found a passion for getting into the physical therapy program here at Langston. And I was genuinely excited about it. Mostly. But I was scared though, because I didn't know if I had what it takes to really do it. I was worried that if I could actually keep up with the curriculum, if I would be able to graduate, right? But I got an offer. I got an offer to be admitted into the Doctor of Physical Therapy program. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm set. This is what I'm going to do. This is my plan. And as I was finishing up my undergrad, I was going to visit a classmate. I wanted to go pick up some, I don't know, it was an assignment, some books, who knows. I go to my classmate's room and I walk into their dorm room, past the living room, and go to their room, grab what I needed, and I'm on my way out. And there's a group of people sitting and standing in the living room. And as I'm walking by, this guy reaches out his hand and puts this paper in my hand and says, hey, I need you to read this for me real quick. Just stand right here. Just read these lines real quick. Help us out. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I'm standing there. I've got this script in my hand and I read the lines. And the guy looks at me and he goes, what are you doing? No, you're staying here. No, you need to be right here. And so, man, I don't know. It felt like that's where I was supposed to be. And so weeks down the line, I'm in practice because I have literally joined this troupe who are putting on this play, this production of this stage play. And here I am. I'm a part of the crew now. And it was nuts because I'd never done any acting. I'd never been on stage like that. Like I'd done step shows, with our fraternity chapter, and, we were really good. So, we did our thing. We were well known for our stage presence and our acumen, but this was different though. And so I'm on this team with these dope people, and I'm excited about it. I'm like, this is really fun. Let's make the most of it. Why not? And we worked our tails off to put on this play. And it was a phenomenal experience. I came in as an understudy because the role that I was filling in for in that moment, and even a couple of moments in the future, it was the main lead. And I was the understudy because the role had already been given to someone else. And I just thought, I'm just happy to be here. Like, this is fun for what it is. And we are enjoying bringing these characters, this play, to life. And before you know it, it wasn't long before we were ready to go and hit the stage. Now, the writer and the director, shout out, and a beautiful blessing and rest in peace to KY, to Kendrick Young. And he goes, I really want you to play the role, but I'm going to give it to you. You get to take the lead and center stage on the second night. So I'm excited about that because, I mean, who doesn't want to show up playing the role that you've been practicing and showing up for just in case? And so when that night hits and it's my turn to step out on stage as Chris, it was, just phenomenal. Of course, it felt like the night went by like that, right? These 2 hours are just gone at the snap of a finger, but I'll never forget that feeling of stepping off stage after we have shown up and put in all that work. And it was just phenomenal, phenomenal feeling. And I'm like, okay, did that, moving on. And so I went back to preparing myself for graduate school, because working on a doctorate degree ain't easy. And I remember I was walking across campus right here where I am right now, like in this spot, walking across this part of campus right behind Sanford Hall. And I stepped off the curb, my phone rang, and I answered it. And I'm standing here in the middle of this campus by myself. It's quiet just like it is right now. And it's KY on the phone. And he says, "Look, the play's been picked up. We're going on the road. Are you coming? I want you to have the lead role. It's yours. Let's go." And I never expected my heart to drop as much as it did in that moment, because first of all, if you would have told me just, several weeks, months before that, would this even be something that I would even want to entertain or think about? No, I'm going to get my doctorate degree. I'm going to serve. I like, that's my future. And it surprised me at just how much I wanted to say yes. Just how such a big part of me was screaming, "Yes, we're going. I'm coming. Yes, drop everything. I'm coming." And he starts telling me these details about, the stops and how they've got these amazing supporters, and people who are going to back the play, and they're going to go on tour, and we're stopping in this city and that city, and it's going to be so dope. And this person signed on and that person signed on, and you got to come. And I'm standing here like, I want to say yes, and now I have to choose between going to school and following what was a very new but exhilarating dream. And I don't know how long I stood out here, but it felt like hours of consideration, of just thinking and trying to rationalize it. And I called him back and I said, "No, I gotta go to school." And so that dream died. It died there. And I think not that they went on. They went on tour. I watched from a distance, because I'm old, but not so old that we didn't have, Facebook back then. And it was, it was beautiful to see them go and flourish, and to see that dream live on, for those who went on that adventure. And I would sit in class and think about it. I would sit in class and think, "Dang, man, I could be in Houston right now on stage somewhere, or, doing a cannonball in a swimming pool at a hotel." And it's like that dream, I just tucked it away neatly in my pocket and kind of left it there so that I could do what I needed to do. And that reality of just bringing myself back to reality and to normal, of like, hey, you're here, focus on what you're doing right now. This is important. This is the most important. And that could have never given you the opportunities that you have now, right? That would have been fun, but what about your future? What about your future? And so, man, you move on with life. And I finished PT school. I get my doctorate degree. Listen, getting married, moving across the country, having a baby, and it was just, it was a thing. It was a thing that I did back then. And as I grew in music, as I grew in myself, and really tapping into and honoring the passion I have always had for art and for creating and for performing and for showing up, I would think about that all the time. Like, dang, that would have been really dope to really step into acting and showing up in that space for myself and in that world. And then 3 years passed, 5 years passed, 10 years passed, and life happens as it happens, and I find myself back home I'm back home here in Oklahoma City in 2022 and rebuilding my life, you know, getting reacquainted with being home again. And I find myself on set again with the script in my hand, helping out a friend. Yeah. And it's a whirlwind. If you've been following or hanging out with me for the past 3 years, then you know that I found my home again on set, in the arts, and on stage and in performance. And so for the past 3 years, I've been enjoying every opportunity I have and that I can seek out to learn some lines and show up and just live in the moment and in the shoes of someone else. It has been phenomenal. So there was Neurosis, and then there was Fragile Bond, and then there was Twisted Devotion, and then there was Of Two Minds, and then there was The Bet. And I even got to step into the director's chair and really start working behind the scenes and really building on the fun and the knowledge of what it's like to create. And then there was Grave Secrets and The Offer. And then there was Anaconda Attacks. And then there was the Wapskino Project and all these projects. And there's Trainer. And today I had the opportunity to show up on set. I got a message last night. Hey, I got a couple of lines in a row for you if you'd like it in this movie we're shooting. And it's like, absolutely, I'm there. And then he texts me the location. It's at Langston University. And it makes me emotional because that dream never died. That dream has grown so much in my life and in my experience and in my purview and in my reach over the past couple of years. And I've enjoyed it, but like today's reflection of just how long it's been since that spark happened for me. It's been beautiful, and it elates me. I'm so excited that, like, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it through all of it, through everything, and all of the struggle, and all of the sacrifice, and all of the plans that didn't go as planned, and all the hits. I'm doing it. And doing it on a scale bigger than I ever thought was for me. Bigger than I ever thought I belonged. And it's just been so damn beautiful. And I just needed to sit down and think about it and talk about it and honor that reality and be grateful for it. I'm so grateful. Shout out again to KY's family, and thank you for that opportunity, brother. Rest in peace. Shout out to my on-screen wife. We used to joke back in the day. She was my first wife, Ebony Johnson, who played Tammy. Shout out to Randy O'Cray, my LU classmate, who also joined the stage with us. Fat Cat and John. Listen, we had such a dope time, man. And everybody who contributed to that project, it was beautiful. It's such a beautiful time to just try new things and explore and have a seed grow. And so, yeah, it was phenomenal, man. And so to be back here on Langston's campus again, 20 years later, literally 20 years later. Hell, I don't know. It might be close to the date. It is close. It's the same season where I had to really decide and accept, my offer to go to PT school. And I mean, this season, as it's come full circle in the last 20 years, has just been phenomenal. And so I want you to take from this story that, As they say, it may be delayed, but not deferred. Don't let your dreams die. Lean into them and enjoy them and find peace and joy and sustenance and exhilaration in them, because what's for you is for you, and you never know how things may come full circle and how you can manifest that reality in your life. Keep pushing, keep growing, and then knowing today just the possibility of what the world could look like and what you could create, what technology has afforded us, what connections have afforded us, what literally the world is at your fingertips. And so keep creating and doing what you know in your heart you're supposed to do. And that doesn't mean to trick off everything that you got going on or disregard your responsibilities. We're going to be risk takers sometimes, and that's okay. But just know that your dreams are real and they're there for you. And I say that as another big full circle moment for me is I've been working on this project. It's called The Warriors Plan, and you've probably, maybe you've seen me talk about it. You've seen me kind of lean into that space. I've been working with other creatives and professionals who want to bring their dreams and their visions to life sooner and faster. And they don't have to take 20 years. It doesn't have to take you 20 years to do it. That's what I'm excited to share and to support. I was on the phone earlier today with one of my clients who I'm supporting, and who we're literally building his dream step by step. And let me tell you, if you're going with me, we're gonna go fast. And he was just blown away by how close his dream actually is, much closer than he thought it was before I got to do what I do, And I just, don't let your dreams die, and don't take 20 years to bring them to life either. So if you're hanging out with me, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have. It's been a phenomenal day, and I'm excited, and I am so grateful. Thank you for your support. Thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, let's do some things together. I'm excited about it. So I'm gonna go. I think it's almost time for me to get on the phone with Willow. I can't wait until she can see my costume. Have a good night, folks.